18 centuries should turn Christian teaching on its head about the Jewish people. Here's what he says. The Holocaust and the emergence of the State of Israel are what impelled us to speak in a new way about Jews and Judaism. Now, for Van Buren, the Holocaust was one thing, but it was really about Israel. He goes on. What could not possibly fit into that mystical picture was the Israelis, the mystical picture of the suffering Jew, was the Israelis holding out and winning their war of independence against the combined forces of 5 national armies. You hear Leon Yours, you hear Abba Eban in the UN. The Israeli Defense Force sweeping over the Sinai and retaking East Jerusalem was what could not possibly fit our traditional myth of the passive suffering Jew. The result is that events in modern Jewish history, perhaps as staggering as any in its whole history, have begun to reorient the minds of increasing numbers of responsible Christians. Get the words of Sinai, Jerusalem. And this is the theology that's become firmly established in the mainstream. There's a fellow named John Palikowski. Some of you know who he is. He is probably the top theologian, Bible scholar, in the Catholic Theological Union in Chicago. And his beat is interfaith. You will find theologians, Christian and Jewish, in almost all of the major seminaries, some of the institutions of higher learning in the United States. And interfaith is what it's about. And interfaith, I won't beat around the bush, interfaith means usually, how do we Christians get good with the Jews and stay good with the Jews? In a 2009 article in Cross Currents called, I forget exactly the name of it, The Land of Israel and Christian Theology, he wrote that the Vatican's 1993 recognition of the State of Israel was the last nail in the coffin of wandering displacement theology. Pay attention to what he's saying here. The Vatican's recognition of the State of Israel fixes Christian theology, clears us up with the Jews. He's a theologian, but I'm telling you, this is not good theology. But there's more. He goes on. He goes on to repudiate Christianity's spiritualization of the land. We've gone too far, he said. When we take the earthly Jerusalem of the Old Testament and turn it into a spiritual Jerusalem, we have taken it for ourselves, for Christians, taking it away from the Jews. It's their inheritance. It's denying Jewish claims. Spiritualizing the land is denying Jewish claims. I find this astonishing. I mean, in the original Christian visioning, and this was what was revolutionary in Christianity, Jerusalem itself became the symbol of a new world order in which God's love was available to all humankind. The Christian vision clarified this, took it where it needed to go. But now, he was saying that the Christian spiritualization of the land was a betrayal of the Jewish people and of God's covenant with the Jewish people. It deprived us of our birthright. I mean, the whole point of spiritualizing the land was to deconstruct that. You're not allowed to say that. It's politically incorrect. It's supersessionism. That was the point. In the Gospel of Mark and in Matthew, Jesus stands before the temple after his entry into Jerusalem and says, "Not one stone will be left upon another." He was saying, this order, this priestly, monarchical order that works for Rome is coming down. And then in John, so to make sure everybody gets the theology right, remember, he says, "Tear this down. In the 3 days, I will build it up again." I have a bishop friend who said, "Well, he's talking about the resurrection." I said, "Yeah, but let's push this a little further." The disciples, of course, are clueless. Said, "Well, Jesus, Master, how can that? It took us 46 years to build this, right?" And then the narrator says, again, to make sure that, like we're 6 years old, we get the theology, he was speaking of the temple of his body. Body of Christ, one humanity united in This is what Christian theology since the war has been trying to deconstruct. We have to be very concerned about this. Generations of pastors and theologians in the mainstream, Catholic, Protestant denominations, have been educated in this revisionist theology, and it's an astonishing reversal in Christian thought. Christianity, in trying to correct the very sin that had produced the Holocaust, triumphalism being the dominant culture, have now taken this idea of exclusivism and chosen this, returned it to the Jewish people, and then hitched a ride and created a Judeo-Christian triumphalism. The Jews are no longer the darkness, they are the light, they are beloved of God. They are the promised chosen people. There's a real estate deal that goes with that, and we're part of it. I mean, what I would say to you is, the Nazi Holocaust wasn't the truth for Christians, but you took the easy way out. The guilt offering does not make it. With apologies to Dietrich Bonhoeffer, this is cheap penitence. And I think, just like the Jewish people today are facing a real crisis, I think the church is facing a real crisis too. You're in this with us. Now, how you get out of it, I think you may be surprised by how I think you need to get out of it in terms of being here with us. But I'll get into that later. So this is the theology that's now in effect. This is the theology that is called into service by the Jewish establishment and elements within the churches to oppose faithful prophetic efforts of the Christian denominations to divest from companies involved in the illegal occupation of Palestine and the theft of land. These are the arguments used to intimidate and to muzzle clergy and secular leaders who are speaking out against the state of Israel's human rights violation. The Christian impulse for reconciliation has morphed into theological support for an anachronistic, ethnic nationalist ideology which has hijacked Judaism, continues to fuel global conflict, and has produced one of the most systematic and long-standing violations of human rights in the world today. I have it in bold. I was going to say it again, but I don't have to. Post-World War II produced a broad and deep confessional moment, and it has resulted in the interfaith industry. That's with apologies to Martin Finkelstein. The interfaith industry that exists today. Christian-Jewish dialogue was originally undertaken to break down age-old barriers of fear and mistrust between the two communities. But today it follows clear rules that serve to insulate Christians from any perception of anti-Jewish feeling, any perception that they might be expressing anti-Jewish feeling, and to protect the Jewish community from any possible challenge to unqualified support for the state of Israel or the validity of the Zionist project itself. These rules are playing out in the pews, in the seminaries, in the academy, in interfaith relations on the highest levels, and they are rendered more powerful by never being acknowledged. They're implicit. There are two rules. One, sensitivity to the, quote, Jewish perspective and the Jewish self-perception as defined for all Jews by some Jews is paramount. Trumps everything. You don't say anything that could offend Jews or our assumptions. Again, defined by something. The second is the superior right of the Jews to the land is not to be challenged. You can nibble around at the edges of Zionism. You can talk about Palestinian human rights, but you can't challenge